She texts him at 2 a.m. because she knows he'll answer. He always does. And somewhere across town, there's another man that she hasn't texted in 3 weeks because she's afraid of what it would mean if basically he didn't text back. One of these men is being used and the other is being wanted. And the difference between them has absolutely nothing to do with looks, money, or how much he loves her. It has everything to do with one thing most men were never taught. Stay with me. By the end of this video, you're going to see yourself in one of these two men, and you're going to know exactly what to do about your situation. Jessica O's here. Welcome to the channel. So here are a few things I'd like to cover in the video today. First, we're going to break down the psychological profile of the man that women use, not necessarily to shame him or anything of the sort, but because most good men fall into this trap without realizing it. And then we're going to examine the man women fear losing, what he does differently, how he thinks, how he moves through relationships. And finally, we're going to talk about the exact shift that you need to make right now, today, to stop being the former and become the latter. This isn't theory, it's pattern recognition from thousands of real relationship dynamics. So if you're ready, come along with me on this journey. The man women use. The man women use is more often than not a genuinely good man. He's thoughtful, consistent, he shows up, he cares deeply, and that's precisely what makes him so easy to take advantage of. This will happen because human nature in any relationship will always test for the edges of what's acceptable. If there are no edges, and when there are no edges, there are no limits. And when there are no limits, naturally, one person starts giving everything, while the other just gives less and less and less. Remember this. You don't think about water until you're thirsty, or think about electricity until the lights go out, correct? When something is always there, it stops being valuable. The man women use has made himself a utility. Literally, he's reliable, he's stable, he's completely non-threatening to her comfort zone, which means that she will keep him around as long as he's useful and feel almost nothing when he's gone. Now, music, hear me. The reason men fall into this pattern isn't because they're weak, it's conditioning. Because most men were raised to believe that love is demonstrated through sacrifice and service. That if you do enough, give enough, show up enough, you'll earn the affection that you're looking for. And yes, that's a beautiful principle in a committed relationship between two people who are equally invested. But applied to someone who hasn't chosen you fully yet, or who never chooses you to begin with, it becomes a self-defeating cycle. You give more to compensate for the distance you feel. And the more you give, the more the distance grows, because now she sees a man who is desperate for her approval rather than confident in his own worth. The moment it becomes a pattern, he meets her. He's excited, she's warm, responsive, interested, and things are feeling great. And then slowly, it could be weeks or even months, she starts pulling back ever so slightly. A little less responsive, a little more vague with plans, a little more, I've just been busy. And instead of reading this as a crucial piece of information about her level of investment, what do? You read it as the problem that you need to solve. So what do? You escalate. What does that look like? More effort, more attention, more reassurance seeking. And she almost unconsciously continues to pull back. Why? Because something in her psychology registers that basically she has all the power here. And power without resistance creates boredom, not attraction. This is not manipulation on her part in most cases. Trust me, it's an instinctive response to a dynamic that simply feels off balance. You see, Women are wired to feel attraction towards men who feel scarce, not men who feel desperate. A man who's always chasing signals says that he doesn't quite believe he deserves her. And that belief, that subtle subconscious lack of self-worth, is more visible than any man realizes. This is why you've seen average-looking guys with extraordinary women, because for the most part, those men carry themselves like they are the prize. Not arrogantly. Arrogance is just insecurity in a louder outfit. But genuinely. See, they have full lives. They have standards. They are interesting to themselves before they're interesting to anyone around them. And women feel that. The man women fear losing. Now, let's talk about the other man, the one that she thinks about in the quiet moments. The one she doesn't text at 2 a.m. because she respects him too much to be careless with his attention. The one where if she went 3 weeks without hearing from him, she would genuinely wonder if she has lost him. And that thought will unsettle her in a way that she fully can't explain. So, what makes this man different? 4 things, in my opinion, that I'll share. He has a defined life. He knows who he is. He has opinions that aren't shaped by whoever's in the room. Has values he won't negotiate, has passions that existed before she arrived and will exist after she's long gone. A woman can't fully have him because he's not hers to possess. He's his own, so she doesn't feel like she's filling a void. She feels like she's being invited into something real. He understands the difference between love and need. The man women fear losing chooses her, actively, consciously, repeatedly. But he doesn't need to regulate his mood, his self-esteem, or his sense of purpose. When she's difficult, he doesn't crumble. When she pulls back, he doesn't chase. He gives her space with complete internal ease. Because his worth is not on loan to her, he has standards that he actually enforces. This is the piece most men intellectually understand but can't emotionally execute. He says what he means. If something bothers him, he addresses it with calm, direct clarity. And if she continues to disrespect a boundary he's communicated, what he does is he removes himself. Because, and only because, he genuinely respects himself too much to stay somewhere that basically his value isn't recognized. And here's the counterintuitive truth. When she sees that he'll actually leave, she stops testing whether he will. Guys, if you're getting real value from this breakdown, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel right now, because I put out content like this every week. Psychology, masculinity, real relationship dynamics, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. But let's continue. You see, a man like this is present, but not consumed. When he's with her, you know? Attentive, engaged, genuinely interested. But when they're apart, he's living his life. She occupies an important place in his life, but she doesn't occupy the center of everything, of his life, okay? That center belongs to his purpose, his growth, his relationship with himself and the world. This balance, being fully present without being fully absorbed, creates the kind of tension that keeps things alive. She's always slightly uncertain where she stands because a man with a full life generally cannot guarantee anyone more than his best effort and his honest heart. The shift, how to cross from one to the other. Now, here's the question I know you're asking right now. Snorts. Can a man actually make the shift, or is it just how some men are born? Well, the answer is clear and it matters. This is not a personality type, it's a posture, and postures can change. But it requires understanding what actually needs to shift because most advice in this space, unfortunately, sends men in the wrong direction. The wrong direction is performing confidence. You know what I mean? Studying tactics, learning pickup lines, pretending to be unavailable. Women see through performance almost immediately because, basically, on average, we are more socially perceptive than most men. You can't fake your way into being the man women fear losing. You have to actually become him. The right direction starts with the single foundation reframe. Stop making her the goal. It sounds simple, and yet it reorganizes everything. When she's the goal, your entire behavior is shaped by her reactions. Remember that. When you are the goal, your growth, your integrity, your life's work, she becomes a beautiful addition to something that was already moving. And that energy is detectable. You see, women don't just hear your words, they read your patterns. A man who's living towards something draws people in. A man who's waiting for someone to validate his life pushes people away. From there, the practical work is this: rebuild your investment in yourself before you rebuild your approach to relationships. What are you building? What are you mastering? What would your daily life look like if you stripped away the energy spent seeking women's approval? Most men who answer this question honestly discover a significant amount of misdirected energy that they can reclaim. Redirect that energy into something that grows: skill, a business, a physical practice, a creative pursuit, and something in you will begin to shift from the inside out. Then comes the hardest piece: learning to tolerate discomfort. When she goes quiet, let her. When she pulls back, don't chase. Hold your ground with warmth and continue living. When something bothers you, say so once clearly, and then let her respond. It's not game playing. This is emotional maturity. It feels uncomfortable at first because it goes against the anxious conditioning that most men carry from years of believing that effort alone should produce love. It doesn't. Emotional groundedness does. So here's the thought that I want you to leave with today, okay? And I want you to sit with it. The man women use never set out to be used. They set out to love well, but he aimed his love at the wrong target, at her approval rather than his own becoming. The man women fear losing isn't playing a different game. He's playing the right game. He understands that a woman's deepest attraction is triggered by how clearly you don't need her to be whole, and how freely you choose her anyway. That kind of love, the love of a man who's full rather than empty, choosing rather than clinging, is the rarest thing in the dating world. And when a woman encounters it, she doesn't take it for granted. She guards it. So become the man worth guarding. Thanks for watching this video. Jessica O'Reilly is here. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.